Okay, so we can see, I don't know why it stopped to record, but we can see, dear women, that the Chida says because the Greeks did not want the children of Israel to keep Shabbat and Rosh Chodesh, the first day of the month, and then also circumcision, dear women, because of that, Chanukah has 8 days for circumcision. It has one Shabbat and it has Rosh Chodesh Tevet. So you see it. So we can see over here the transformation from this, that there's a threat over the children of Israel, that the Canaanites are looking at the children of Israel, and then, dear women, we can see that we praise the name of God because of the miracle that happened on Chanukah. But I would like to give you a few things. Look, we see the month of Kislev. It's written like this, and Masachet Shabbat says that in Aramaic, it's written with a yud over here, okay, with a yud. But if we look at the word Kislev, the month of Kislev, we have 66. Samech is 60, Vav is 6, it's 66. Every number, every multiplication of 6, dear women, is connected to Midat HaYesod, the count of Yesod. The count of Yesod, we know that it's, dear women, that Yosef was so righteous that he didn't have any look, that he didn't look at the women at all, dear women, including the wife of Potiphar, that wanted to seduce him in order that he will be with her. That's why Yosef is called, it's Tzaddik Yesod Olam, dear women. Tzaddik Yesod Olam, you see the Yesod, righteous person, but this is the building of the world. Tzaddik Yesod Olam. Why? Because he kept his eyes and he kept himself out of intimate relationship that are not allowed, dear women. So we can see Yesod. So what does the Chanukah candle fix? The light of the Chanukah candle fix Zera Levatala. Dear women, men that spread their sperm in vain, dear women, which this means that they killed all of their generations that should come after them, because in each sperm there's a potential of being a human being, either a male or a female. Once it's in vain, it goes in vain, which means you killed your descendants and all your future descendants. So the lighting of the candles of Chanukah, by looking at the candles and repenting, it has a merit, dear women, to fix this. Tikkun HaBrit, to fix this, dear women. So you should tell your husbands, your sons, everybody that they should know that the merit of the candles is to fix, dear women, mamash etzet, tzaddik yesod olam, dear women. We have in this another thing, dear women, we can see that Samech is 60 numerical value, and we have also Lamed. Lamed is 30. 60 and 30 is 90. 90, dear women, in numerical value is Tzaddik, is the letter Tzaddik. And we can see Tzaddik Yesod Olam. How did the children of Israel overcome the Hashmonaim, and at those times overcome the problems with the Greeks, dear women? By being righteous. Tzaddik Yesod Olam. By being righteous. Tzion b'mishpat tifadeh v'shaveh b'tzedakah, dear women. So how did they do that? With giving charity and being righteous. Righteous how? What do we do on Chanukah? We light the candles and we say Hallel, we praise the name of Hashem and we say thank you. I wrote it over here. Hallel v'odaya, nachon? That's what we do on Chanukah. And for what do we do that? Because the candles, when we watch the candles, we fix our eyes, enaim, we fix our eyes, and when we praise the name of Hashem, we fix our mouth. When we say thank you, we fix our mouth, dear women. I'll give you an example. When we write the Torah on a big, cloth, איך אומרים cloth באנגלית? איך? Parchment? Okay, a big cloth, we write the Torah. It's the first time writes it. So how do he get the parchment, the cloth? It's cloth, okay? You understand what I'm talking about. So he goes, he takes an animal, a kosher animal, they take off their skin, and he writes it on a skin. Okay? When he writes on a skin, a big miracle happens. He goes to the mikveh, he dips himself to be pure, and then he writes it. But look what happens. I'll write it over here. This is skin in Hebrew. It's called or. When he starts to write the letters, the Hebrew letters, the Torah on the skin, it becomes light. And the difference, you see light, or in Hebrew, the difference between or, skin, to light, or, dear women, is only ayin, the letter ayin and the letter aleph. You see it over here? So once we write the Torah on a skin, we make the fixing of the first human being. How do we make the fixing for the first human being? Because the first human being, Adam Rishon, was all light. Because the soul was out of the body because he was so pure. Everything, he was enlightened, everything. He couldn't look at his wife Chava because her soul was so pure that he couldn't look at the light, dear women. But once they sinned, the soul went inside. All this light went inside, and then we can see the skin. You see all. So what happened? It changed places. Instead of light, the first human being with an Aleph, and Aleph is the name of Hashem, because I told you that Aleph is written with a Vav and two Yudim, you remember? This is Aleph, how the Sefer Stam writes it. Yud is 10, and another Yud is 10. Vav is 6. Together it's 26. Yud Kei Vav Kei, the name of mercy of Hashem, dear women. So you can see, dear women, that because the first human being sinned, the Aleph became Ain. The light became or, skin. Because the soul went inside, it does not light as it was before. Our purpose in this world is to clean this soul like a diamond. When we take a diamond, we go to Africa, we take diamonds from the ground, we have to clean them and then polish them and until the light goes out and you look at it, wow, you can see the light. This is the same thing. We need to polish our souls by fixing our characteristics until we see the light. So we are doing the fixing of the skin towards the light. The fixing is the ayin that will become Aleph. We are a sheep between 70 nations. So what is one sheep between 70 nations? One is the Aleph, because the numerical value of Aleph is 1. And Ayin is 70. So this is the 70 nations, dear women. So we are doing a fixing. So how do we do a fixing now, dear women? If we look at this, dear women, the Peh. So it's written that the oral Torah, it's written in the Gemara, should not be written, but it is written. So how was it written? Because at the beginning, it went from mouth to ear and from mouth to ear, okay? This is how they studied it. Moshe Rabbeinu heard the oral Torah from Hashem. He taught it to Aaron. Aaron taught it to his sons, and his sons started to teach it to all the tribes. Okay, this is how it worked. And it wasn't written. But at the times of the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi saw that the generations know less and less. So he was afraid that it will be forgotten. So they started to write the Mishnah. After the Mishnah, they saw that the generations again become less and less wise in the Jewish Torah. So they had to explain the Mishnah. So they wrote the Gemara. We have the Talmud Bavli and the Talmud Yerushalmi, dear women. So they had to write it. So if that oral Torah shouldn't have been written, and now it's written, we study it. We are studying now also the oral Torah, dear women. So what is the klaf? What is the amulet on which the oral Torah is written? So it's written on us. Once we study it, our mouth is the amulet of the oral Torah. Our body, you see, the written Torah has a klaf, has an amulet that we write on it. It's the skin of an animal. But our skin, our body skin, becomes the amulet of the oral Torah, dear women. You understand? Our mouth becomes the amulet of the oral Torah. This is mamash tikkun. That's why we say Hallel vehoda. We fix our mouth. We'll go into it. And then the candles, dear women, we fix our sight. Because, dear women, the soul is the eyes. You can see a soul of a person through his eyes. Because this is a mirror. The mirror for the soul are the eyes, dear women. And why? Because they are very pure. The eyes, dear women, I will write it over here.
And only like Jewish can't say this? What about the goyim they study right now?
Everybody, dear women, the soul, the mirror of the soul is the eyes for every human being.
No, I'm not saying about, so I'm telling about, like you're saying, we like, when we're talking oral Torah. What about the Goyish people? They study Torah too.
They do not study the oral Torah.
They do not?
No.
Korean
Oral
people
Torah,
start
sorry?
From Korea.
Okay, this is something else. I won't go into it. Dear women, in order to understand the Torah and to have the merit of understanding the Pardes, you have to be circumcised. You have to become Jewish. You understand? If the first human being wouldn't have sinned, everybody would be like the Jewish people. There won't be any separation. Everybody will be the same. The separation was caused because of the sin of the first human being. So let's continue and see. So we see that we need to fix our eyes, the sights of our eyes. Ayin, this is ayin in Hebrew, is an eye in English, okay? Ayin in numerical value is 70, Yud is 10, and Nun is 50. Together, it's 150. 13 multiplied by 10. You see? 10 times the measure of Hashem. It's parallel to Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. That God is one in the whole universe. This is parallel. We have two eyes, so we have 130 and 1 plus 130, 260. It's 10 times the name of Hashem of mercy. So the eyes are very pure, and we shouldn't use this tool that Hashem gave us to look at things that we are not allowed to look at them. Why? Because if we look at things that we are not allowed to look, for example, the men that look at women, that women are not modest, dear women, then they have thoughts about them. And when they go to their wives after they came from the mikveh, those thoughts they put inside this intimate relationship in order to create a new human being with Hashem. So this is called Lechalel et Kodesh HaKodashim. This comes into the holiest of holiest, mamash. So dear women, in order to cleanse our eyes, dear women, this is what we need to do. Because we know that the eyes are pure, we need to clean them. How do we clean them? We have to help each other. Us as women, we have to go modestly in order that we won't have a sin that a man looks at us, because this is also our sin. Once he looks at us, dear women, and he has thoughts about us, part of his sin is ours, because we caused him to do that. So we have to keep also our part, so we won't cause our men to sin, or our sons and our cousins and all the siblings and all the children of Israel and nobody else, dear women, to sin because of us. This is our part, to be modest, dear women. So by looking at the candles of the menorah, this is a fixing for our eyes, dear women. Mamash tikun la'inayim. And by saying Hallel v'Odah, we fix our mouth. The Shila says a beautiful thing. He says, in his book, Shnei Luchot HaBrit, that the Hashmonaim, the children of Israel at that time, fixed hakaf lepach. Hakaf, dear women, it means the. You remember in Parashat Vayishlach, it's Vayiga bekaf Yerecho, betaka kaf Yerech Yaakov. The angel that fought with Yaakov Avinu, he touched his socket, I think, his socket of the hip, it's called, and because of this, he caused damage to his hip, dear women. So the hip is called, the socket of the hip is called kaf. Okay, it's called kaf, you see? And the Shila Kadosh says, that the Hashmonaim turned the kaf lepach. A pach is a container, okay, that contains the oil. This is the pach. Very weird, isn't it? That he says that the Hashmonaim turned the kaf, the part, the socket of the hip that was damaged by the angel that damaged Yaakov Avinu, and we're not allowed to eat this part. And this turned to pach, to the container of the oil. So how come this turned? Look at the fixing. It's the same fixing, dear women. I'll write over here. The fixing, dear women, look. I'm going to write it like approximately. This is kaf, okay? And this is pach. If you look at the letters, they are the same letters. Because we have chaf, we have bending letters, otiyot kfufot, dear women. So we have over here chaf. And we have an open chaf. You see? Chaf safit, open chaf. And then, dear women, we have a pei, open pei, and we have a bended pei. You see this? This is the calf, the socket of the hip. And over here, this is the container of the oil. The same letters. You see the same letters? So what is the fixing? So the Shila Kadosh says, dear women, that the chaf over here that is bended is the hand that is bended. That they didn't want to give charity. They gave, but not enough charity. They could give more. So they closed their hands, dear women. They close. So the chaf is, this is kaf, like a kaf yad, like a hand. Okay, in Hebrew, palm, like in Hebrew, it's kaf. So they closed it, so it's bended, it's closed. And then the Hashmonaim caused them to open it for tzedakah. Look, tzedakah. You see, this is the tzaddik of tzaddik esod olam. You see it over here? And then, dear women, we look at the pei. The pei is open over here. The fixing is turning the socket into container. But the pei here is open, which means the mouth was open for slandering. So there was false hatred. The mouth was open for slandering because the second temple was ruined, biklal sinat chinam. So the mouth was open for slandering. So they closed the mouth. The pei here is open. And then they turned it to pach, to the container. But this pei is closed. It's kfufa. It's bended. It's closed. So the pei was, they used the mouth only for halel v'hoda l'kadosh baruch Hu, to say thank you to Hashem, to praise the name of Hashem. So this is the fixing from Kaf over here, because when the angel touched him, dear women, the angel of Esav, he wanted all the future generations to fall down in a sin, dear women. So the future generations, what can we fall down with? It's the mouth. The fixing starts with the mouth, dear women, the mouth and the open hand. But how do we have an open hand? Only if we have good eye. Look, everything is connected. How can we open our hand for tzedakah, dear women? Only if we have ayin tova. Ayin tova. Good eye. Otherwise, we don't open our hands. We want everything for ourselves. God forbid to give it to somebody else because we think it's ours. We forget that it's only lended to us. Then we don't open our hands. So we need ayin tova, dear women. We go back to the fixing of the eyes. You see? The candles help us fix our eyes. In all portions, which means even not to be cheap, because to be cheap is very hard. It's very hard. I heard by someone there are courses to teach a person how to open his hand. Yeah, mamash courses to teach a person how to give money to others, and especially their family, because sometimes people are so cheap, so even with their siblings they won't open their hands. So, dear women, this is a big fixing, but in order to open your hand, you have to have a good eye towards people. Then you can open your hand. So you see that the candles fix the eyes in order that we'll have good characteristics. We won't have jealousy, because when we have good eye, we don't have jealousy. We don't have lust, because we are satisfied with what we have. We don't seek honor, because we have a good eye towards others. So we don't seek honor. We don't spread the sperm in vain, God forbid, because we have good eyes. We look at good things and not at the things that are not so good, dear women. And the mouth is only for holiness. So all of this surrounding Chanukah is to fix the mouth and the eyes, dear women, which is very important to know that, dear women. On Chanukah, dear women, we do not fast. It's not days that we fast. Usually the people fast on Monday and on Thursday 3 days, either they do Thursday, Monday, Thursday, or Monday, Thursday, Monday. But on Chanukah we do not fast because this is a big miracle. The miracle is above nature. You can see that the menorah in the temple had 7 kanim. Okay, 7 kanim. You know what kan is? Okay, and here the menorah that we light has 8. Why 8? 7 means the 7 days of creation. So this is nature, that Hashem created the world. But 8 is above nature, is the miracles. What is 8? What is above nature, dear women? Look again, it's the fixing of the eyes. Because 8 is eyes. You see? 8 is eyes. It's the fixing of the eyes. So we have 8 candles, dear women. 8 we put on the menorah. Because this is also the fixing of the eyes. Because when we see something, we have a desire for it. So it says, "Velo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem," dear women, which means when say in Shema Yisrael, you should not go after your heart and your eyes. And dear women, when we say that, the question that Rashi answered is, why do we say after our hearts and then after our eyes? Because first the eyes look, and then the heart desires, and then klei ha'maaseh yotzim lemaaseh, and then all the organs of action go to do something about it. But it says, Rashi says, but the first sight is a sight of test. God calls you to see something, it's a test, to see if you look again at it. So the first sight is a sight of test. But then the second sight is the sight of sin already. Why? Because after we saw it once, it came to our heart. And then the heart started to be excited. And the blood started to flow very quickly inside the veins. So either we decide by the heart not to look at it again, if it wasn't good, not to watch what we saw again. And then this means that we passed the test, that we have a test, and Hashem helped us to keep our eyes from seeing things that we shouldn't see, dear women, or we will look again and then we'll start doing something about it. You understand? So this is again, the 8 is above nature. So Hashem, and look, how many candles do we light? We light 36 candles, Lamed Vav. Lamed Vav is part of, where's Kislev? Okay, I'll write it again here. Lamed Vav, dear women, comes from Kislev. Look. Kislev. You see, Lamed Vav. 36. 30 is Lamed, the miracle value of Lamed. The Vav is 6. Lamed Vav. It's 36 righteous people that are in the land of Israel and 36 that are all over the world. In together 72 righteous people that because of them the world still stands. The world did not come back to chaos. 36, you see it over here? This is the 36 righteous people. But 36 is more than that. There was, at the beginning when the world was created, there was 36 hours of great light. Light that was hidden only for righteous people. That if you looked at the light, you could see from the beginning of the world till the end of the world. But Hashem then God saw that there's going to be, lo aleinu, very bad people, wicked people in the world, and they will use it not good. So he decided to take this light and to keep it for the righteous people, dear women. This light was 12 hours of Erev Shabbat and 24 hours of Shabbat together, 36 hours. But you can see the shamash. We have also a shamash that is not part of it. We light with this the candles and we put it aside. So with the light of the shamash, dear women, we have 8 candles because every day we have one shamash. 8 days, it's 8 candles. Together it's 44, dear women. Okay, it's 44. 40 in numerical value is mem, and 4 is daled. Now, dear women, Hashem created this world, and when he created it, everything is measure for measure. Midah keneged midah. Hashem said, if you will elevate your souls and you will recognize me in the world, then I will make a miracle for you that the Greeks cannot touch you and you will win. And then because the Hashmonaim won the war, 206 years, the temple was still standing before it was ruined. The second temple, dear women, another 206 years. But look, If I add the name of Hashem over here, the He of Malchut over here, I get Midah. You see? Midah keneged Midah. Measure for measure. This is the ruling of Hashem. If I'll take only the initials of Midah keneged Midah, it comes together to the word Mikem, from you. You have the power to be above nature. You have the power to be above nature. How? If you grasp reality by knowing that everything that is around you is from me. Hashem says. There's no existence without Hashem to anything in the world. Everything is by the word of Hashem, dear women. Everything. So we have over here Mikem, from you. You see it over here? Midah keneged Midah. This is Mikem over here. So with the 44 candles, we know, dear women, that everything... Now, if we all change and decide to love each other, dear women, truly love each other, the same way that we love ourselves, we will love others. Anything that we don't like, that somebody will do to us, we won't do to others. We will be true with Hashem and other people, dear women. Then Mashiach will announce himself in this world, because Mashiach is in every generation. But the generation has to have a merit that Mashiach will reveal himself. So now, dear women, let's go to a few Jewish laws, and we'll continue Bezrat Hashem if we'll have time. We are allowed to work on Chanukah, but women, during the time that the candles, half hour that the candles are lightened, still light, dear women, they do not work. And why? Because there was a big miracle for women at that time. Because the Hagmon, how do you say Hagmon in English?
Hasmoneans.
Under the Pope, there was Hasmoneans, but there's another word I knew that. I looked in the dictionary, I don't remember it now. So, dear women, the Hagmon, every Jewish woman that got married, the first night, dear women, he took it for himself, for intimate relationship, for himself. So the Kohen, the priest, had a beautiful daughter. And he wanted her she wanted to get married, so she got married, and he called her. She gave him milk and cheese. He fell asleep, and she killed him. And she brought his head to Jerusalem. And this is a big miracle, because she saved by this all of the women of Israel. So because of that, dear women, the women have merit. They are part of the miracle. They have merit in this miracle. So they do not work half an hour while the candles are lighting. So what do we do while the candles are lighting and we don't work? I would like to give you this. I just spread it out. Each one have one. I will explain it. I will say that in English. See that everybody has one. Have one in your hands. Those are sgulot to do while the candles are lighting, because you will sit down and look at the candles, and you will ask what to do. יש לך שם? Here. אני אביא. Give it them also. I will explain. Write it next to it. I'll explain. Write it next to it.
But it's Hebrew.
Yes, and I will say explain to you what to do, and you just write next to it.
Another one?
Yes, better. Who doesn't have?
Give to everybody in Hebrew?
Yes, and you'll write next to it. I will give you.
It's not gonna be.
I write next to it. I'll explain. Okay. רגע, עוד לא הגענו לזה. Don't worry, אנחנו נגיע עוד מעט. Dear women, while the candles are lighting, you see over here in the middle? Look over here in the middle. You see in the middle? We read for half an hour. Read the end of chapter 90 in Tehillim. The end of chapter 90. I'll write it in here. While the candles are lighting, the end of chapter 90 in Tehillim. מי לא קיבל? The end of chapter 90 in Tehillim. Write it down. Over here in the middle. Look over here. In the middle. Write it down. The end of chapter 90. כתוב, וינועם השם אלוקינו עלינו. You remember this is the end. It's the last verse in chapter 90. So you read the last verse in chapter 90. בדיוק באמצע, מדלן. באמצע. Yes. Wait. Once you read it, and then you read chapter 91. And then chapter 9. The last verse of chapter 90. The last verse of chapter 90. And then you read chapter 91. But all of this you read 8 times, dear women. 8 times. Again, you read it 8 times. Yeah, the last verse of chapter 90 and 91. Only the last verse in chapter 91. Then you read chapter 30 one time. Then you read chapter 30, dear women. Chapter 33. And then you read chapter 67, which is, and you try to read it by the menorah, okay? Samech Zayin, you just imagine to yourself, open the Siddur, so you can read it by the menorah, like it has the shape of the menorah. Yes. Wait, שאלה שנייה. רק כן?
We read the
last verse on chapter 90 and chapter 91. All of this as one case, 8 times you read. 8 times. This together is 8 times. This is only once, and this is once, okay? And this is, everything else is only once. Chapter 67, סמך זין, זה בצורה של המנורה לקרוא את זה אם אתם יכולים. If you can, by the shape of the menorah, read it. And then chapter 19, dear women, chapter 19, and chapter 100 to say thank you to Hashem, מזמור לתודה, and chapter 133, dear women. 133, dear women.
This is
Every day when you sit next to the lights.
every day after we light it.
Yes.
זה 8 ימים לקרוא.
לא. ערב שבת, if you have time, תשתדלי. If you light the candles half an hour before, it will be hard. אם את יכולה, תעשי. If you can, do it. If you consider that you cannot, continue the Shabbat הרגיל. Okay? menorah. Chapter 67 has the shape of menorah. איפה הסידור? הנה. If you can imagine, at least imagine the menorah, dear women, I will show you. Wait, I will show you in the Siddur.
איריס.
כן, רק שנייה. בסדר. Here you see, chapter 67 has the shape of the menorah. You have it in the Siddurim. If you can, imagine the menorah when you read it. Each verse in chapter 67 is one part of the kanim of the menorah. Beseder? And then at the end, when we finished all of these chapters, we say, Anna bekoach, gdulat yaminecha tatir tzura. Anna bekoach, okay? Anna bekoach, you have it in the Siddurim. You have it in your Siddur. You have it written over there, but if you don't know, it's in your Siddur. At the end of the lesson, we'll show you in the Siddurim. You have Anna bekoach here? Okay. I will show you. You have it in Shacharit, dear women. Beshacharit you have it.
זה בצורת ככה לקרוא.
Wait. I will show you over here for a minute. This is the menorah. You see that? You make a sign over here. This is the menorah. And then, dear women, זה בסדר המערכה, you have Anna Bekoach. And you have it before you go to sleep when you say Shema Yisrael, dear women. So you also have it over there. You know, at the end of the lesson, here. This is Anna Bekoach. You see, you have it, Anna Bekoach. Beseder HaMaracha, in the morning prayers, at the beginning of the morning prayers, you have Anna Bekoach, dear women. This is Anna Bekoach, and this is the menorah. You're welcome. Okay. So, when we are on the 8th day of Chanukah, Zot Chanukah, we'll speak about it. Zot Chanukah has a big merit to Lezera Bar Kaima, for having children. So anyone that has a problem receiving children, dear women, should look at the candles and daven to Hashem and pray for others also for children. בזאת חנוכה. מה? לא הבנתי. אני אביא לך. זאת חנוכה, dear women. So please don't remember the 8th day of Chanukah. We need to daven for all the women that want children. It's a big merit, dear women. Now let's continue. I would like to remind you that when we light the candles, we need to concentrate on the word Nachal. Nachal is a spring, but it's part, dear women. Nachal, when you translate it, literally it's spring. But it comes from one of the 13 measures of Hashem, the 13 attributes of Hashem, Notzer, Chesed, Le'alafim. The initials, dear women, the initials of Notzer, Chesed, Le'alafim. He who has mercy for thousands of generations, the initials is Nachal, because we want mercy. מה? לא, זה לא כתוב שם. לרשום, write it down. It's not written over there. I'm giving you, dear women.
They have it?
No, I'm giving you it now. Write it down. You need to see the letters of Nachal. In Friday, when you light the candles, see these letters. Okay? Those are initial for Notzer Chesed La'alafim, dear women. יתרה על כן, it's...
What does those three words mean?
He, Notzer Chesed La'alafim, he who has mercy for 1,000 generations. So we want him to have mercy upon us, that he will save us from all the things that happens today in the world, dear women. So it's also initials that we are waiting for you, Hashem. Nafshenu, our soul, Nafshenu, chikta leHashem. Dear women, it's also initials that we are waiting for you, Hashem. Nafshenu chikta leHashem. You see initials Nachal. Pay attention, dear women. I want you to concentrate on all of this. And it's also initials of Lehadlik Ner Chanukah. To light a candle, dear women, Lehadlik Ner Chanukah. You see, Lehadlik Ner Chanukah is Nachal. It's in it to light a candle of Chanukah is also Nachal. So all of this to see the letters Nachal. Our soul is waiting for you. Look, what is Mashiach? Mashiach in initials. Mashiach. Madlikim, lightning, Shmonat, Yemei Chanukah. We light on the 8 days of Chanukah. We light the candles. Madlikim, you see over here, Madlikim, Shmonat, Yemei Chanukah. What kind of candles? I want you to know the merit of lighting a candle on Chanukah is when we light the candle, even the menorah of the temple, wherever it is lit. You give the power to the menorah of the temple to be light. And I don't know where it is, but wherever it is, it's lit. You understand the power? Because everything starts over here, Baketer. Everything starts with the mind. We change reality with our minds. When we change our perspective of life, we change the reality. So we have to ask, Nafshenu chikta ladna, we are waiting for you, Hashem. How do we wait for you? We're waiting for Mashiach to be revealed. So there will be a fixing to the world. Even Mashiach goes, Madlikim Shmonat Yemei Chanukah. We light the candles, 8 days of Chanukah. So Notzer Chesed La'alafim, that you will have mercy upon us. We are at the end of the 6,000, before the beginning of the 7,000. It's the end of times we are. We are already on Erev Shabbat, at the eve of Shabbat. So it's a matter of time. It can happen by Zrat Hashem now that I'm speaking Hashem. So dear women, you understand? It's powerful. So once we sit down and daven and do that, we are lighting the menorah of the temple, dear women. We have the power. Until now, the men had the stage. Now we have the stage. Because Arizal says, dear women, listen very carefully, that we are the generation of Egypt. We are the reincarnation of this generation. Because of righteous women, the generation of Egypt was saved and sent out of Egypt. And because of righteous women, Mashiach is going to come. בזכות נשים צדקניות יצאו עם ישראל ממצרים, ובזכותן עתידין להיגאל. We bring Mashiach. So we need to change. Once we change ourselves, we can help others change. How do we change? When we change our perspective and we understand that we are all equal, whatever I need to fix, I cannot fix what she needs to fix. What she needs to fix, I cannot fix. The Rashash זכותו תגן עלינו, Rabbi Shalom Sharabi says, זכותו תגן עלינו, he says, what a criminal needs to fix, a rabbi cannot fix. Which means that we are all part of one soul, and only sparkles are inside us, because each one of us has to fix something else. Together we fix the whole world. Together we fix the soul. Do you understand? So we are not different. We just look different because this is our test in this world. This is part of the needs that we need for the fixing. Not more than that. So one is taller, one is shorter, one is wider, one is thinner, one is rich, one is less rich. One has 12 children, one has one child. Everything is for the fixing, not more than that. We think that we own the world. We do not own the world. Hashem owns the world. Everything is by Him, not by us. It's just imaginary things, dear women. So let's continue, dear women. Now we light the candles, dear women. You know, Parashat Miketz is this Shabbat. It's always Parashat Miketz on Shabbat Mevarchim, dear women, on Chanukah. Because it's written, Vayi Miketz Shnatayim Yamim. It says that Yi Miketz Shnatayim Yamin. At the end of two years, dear women, Shnatayim in Hebrew is 2 years. So it says that this is a hint for Chanukah. And how is it a hint for Chanukah? Because the shin is small, left, nerot, tadlik, candles you should light, yamin memuzuzah. You see? Shin is for small, for left. On the left side of the door, nerot, the candles, tadlik, you're going to light the candles. On the right side of the door, there will be a mezuzah. So where do we put the menorah? On the left side. This is a hint in Parashat Miketz. How do we repent to Hashem? How do we repent? Miketz, look. We repent to Hashem by kol, tzom, b'mamon. We repent to Hashem by giving charity. This is mammon, money. This is the mem, charity. Call by davening to Hashem, by asking forgiveness from Hashem, by saying thank you for everything that He gave us, and some by fasting in order to purify our body and soul. So this is how we repent. Vayi miketz shnatayim yamim, dear women, shnatayim is a hint for Chanukah. Because we put the menorah on the left side of the door, and on the right side there's a mezuzah. So if we look again, we want Mashiach, don't we? So look, Yamin. This is the first letter of Yamin, mezuzah. On the right side we have mezuzah. Vesmol, menorah. Small, לא, חנוכה. סליחה, חנוכיה. Small Chanukah. Sorry?
What does the word Snechayim mean?
Nechaim? Shnatayim. 2 years. I said 2 years. 2 years. So look, dear women. So Yamin Mezuzah, the initials is Yud, for right side, right is Mezuzah, as the initials are Yud and Mem. And on the left side, dear women, we have small Chanukah. Chanukah. On the left side we have Chanukah, so the initials is Shin and Chet. If we add the letters together, it's Mashiach. You see? Yismach Moshe. Yismach Moshe, we say, dear women, on Shabbat, on the prayers in the morning, Shacharit Shel Shabbat. Yismach Moshe bematnat chelko. Why? Because he received us. And Moshe is Mashayahu Shiyeh. He's going to come back. So look, the Mashiach, we are calling Mashiach. So everything that we do makes a difference in higher places, in Olamot Elyonim, in worlds above us. Once we do it with our heart, we bring Mashiach. So let's continue, dear women. Sorry?
Everything is a test.
Yes, everything. So yes, so we have to be happy. Then we cause all of the judgment to soften. It becomes good, it becomes mercy if we understand that it's a test. If we understand that everything that happens is from God, He's only testing us. It's from Hashem. The good things and the not so good things, we accept it with happiness. Once we are happy, everything changes. But we have to understand this. It has to come from the subconscious to the conscious. Once we study, we remind ourselves, this is tshuva. Dear women, when we do, this is repenting. Once we think about it, it's a thought of repenting. You do not understand how we change the worlds above us. We are causing Mashiach to reveal himself sooner, dear women. So you see, everything is connected. Now let's continue. So we know that the Chanukah is on the left side of the door, on the right side is the mezuzah, dear women.
I'm sorry, about Shalatim, like where this word come and like what's...
Shnatayim. Vayi miketz shnatayim yamim. On Parashat Miketz, the portion of Miketz, it starts Vayi miketz shnatayim, at the end of 2 years. 2 years that are considered like days. So this word Shnatayim, the Chazal say, our sages say, it stands for Chanukah. It's a hint for Chanukah.
2 years for Yosef?
After he was again 2 years in prison, Hashem added to him 2 years. Okay, so this word two, Shnatayim, 2 years, stands for, the shin is for small, left is nerot tadlik. On the left side you will light candles. Ve'yamin mezuzah, on the right side you're going to have the mezuzah, exactly like the menorah.
Punishment for Yosef, it give like 2 years, and like we have Hanukkah from this?
So it's a hint inside the portion of the week for Chanukah. It's always, that's why always Miketz is read on Chanukah. Always. That's the hint. You remember I told you that the Greeks did not want the children of Israel to keep Shabbat, to keep Rosh Chodesh, and to keep circumcision, and to study Torah. So the Chida says, Chutot Hagan Aleinu, that's why Chanukah is 8 days. Just like Sukkot. Sukkot is 8 days, Chanukah is 8 days, dear women. Nachon? So we have Chanukah 8 days, dear women, and in these 8 days is for circumcision. Shmona Yamim Lemilah. And we have one Shabbat at least, and then we also have, dear women, Rosh Chodesh. So we have everything to show that Hashem saved us above. It was above nature. Me'atim mul rabim, dear women. How do we put the candles, dear women? Shh. How do we put the candles? Atzava miyamin lismol. When we put the candles in the menorah, it's from the right side to the left side. I put it from the right side to the left side. Hadlaka, we light it from mismol leyamin. Mismol leyamin, from the left side to the right side. Yes, which means from judgment to mercy. Okay? From mismol leyamin. This is small, is din. That's small. The yamin is mercy, chesed. So we put the candles. And why? Because at the beginning there was judgment above the children of Israel. Because they did not keep the Torah like Hashem wanted them to keep the Torah. So he brought the Greeks on them. And the Greeks said, and Hashem said, if you don't keep my Torah, I will take Shabbat, I will take Rosh Chodesh from you, the first day of the month. I will take circumcision. And then, so this is judgment. From mercy, we went to judgment. So we put the candles from mercy to judgment. But then we light the candles from judgment to mercy. Because the right side is mercy and the left side is judgment. So we light the candles from the left side to the right side. And why? Because Hashem had mercy upon us. And we fought and we understood what we did wrong and we fixed it. You remember we opened our hands. We had a good eye, dear women. You remember the kaf lechaf? A kaf lepach, dear women? So we opened our hands and we closed our mouth and we use it only for holy things. So Hashem made a miracle for us above nature. And dear women, at the first day, we bless 3 blessings, dear women. We bless, dear women, 3 blessings. 3 blessings. We bless להדליק נר חנוכה. This is להדליק נר חנוכה על הניסים שעשה לאבותינו, dear women, על הניסים. And then we bless שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. But this is only on the first day. Every day only 2 blessings. Okay? Remember. על הניסים, קודם כל להדליק נר חנוכה. על הניסים ושהחיינו. מתחילים בלהדליק נר חנוכה, על הניסים ואחר כך שהחיינו. On the first day we have 3, but the second day is only 2, dear women.
But
And
usually we say it in the beginning, no?
no,
The second.
the first day, that's what I said. The first day, all the other days only 2 blessings. We say להדליק נר חנוכה ועל הניסים, dear women. Another thing, dear women, we say after that, הנרות הללו שאנחנו מדליקים, and then, dear women, we say Ma'os Sur Yeshuati, and then we read chapter 30 in Tehillim. Mizmor Shir Chanukah Habayit LeDavid. Dear women, Mizmor Shir Chanukah Habayit LeDavid. כן. Mizmor Shir, chapter 30 in Tehillim. Mizmor Shir Chanukah Habayit. And why? And why, dear women? כי מזמור שיר itself, the initials מזמור שיר חנוכת הבית, the celebrating of the house, because you know on the 25th of the month of Kislev, the Mishkan, the holy tent was finished. And this is the day that we start lighting the candles, dear women. So, dear women, if you look at the initials, we see Mashiach. You see? So you have to lechaven that Mashiach will come. Mizmor Shir Chanukat Habayit LeDavid. This is B'mi HaMashiach, David. David ben Ishai. Mizmor Shir Chanukat Habayit LeDavid. And we are calling Mashiach to be here. So the initials again comes to Mashiach. Another thing, dear women, on Yom Shishi, on Friday, we light the Chanukah candles before the candles of Shabbat. Remember that. So try that the candles will have, if you light it with oil, that will be enough oil, dear women, that it will last enough time. And if we light it with candles, that the candles will be thicker. Another thing, Motzei Shabbat, when Shabbat goes out, Motzei Shabbat, dear women. So in the synagogue, you'll see that the rabbis light the menorah before the Havdalah. But at home, we do Havdalah and then we light the candles. They light the candles before Havdalah because then they're afraid that if you'll do the Havdalah, that nobody will stay to light the candles. So we do Havdalah at home, but we're at home, we do Havdalah and then we light the candles. Another thing, during the days of Chanukah, we read all the Hallel, the whole Hallel, because when we have on Rosh Chodesh, we don't read the whole Hallel. But on Chanukah, we read the whole Hallel. After Tfilat Shmoneh Esrei, there's the praising of Hashem. We praise the name of Hashem with chapters. אנחנו גומרים, אבל אנחנו לא אומרים את הברכה, ברוך אתה השם, לגמור את ההלל. נשים לא אומרות את הברכה. אבל יש כאלה שכן אומרות, יש כאלה בין אשכנזים שכן אומרים. אבל אם כן אומרים, אז הם אומרים, כי זה לגמור את ההלל. Dear women, we say the whole הלל. Another thing, dear women, we read from the Torah, and I brought it over here, the chapter from Parashat Neso, the portion of Neso, dear women, from Chumash Bamidbar, dear women, we read about the presidents of each tribe, the presents that they gave Aaron HaKohen for the holy tent, dear women, Bishvil HaMishkan. And you remember this, we read only twice a year. We read it, dear women, on the first 12 days of the month of Nisan, and we read it on Chanukah. And why do we read it on Chanukah? Because the holy tent was finished, the whole work was finished on the 25th of the month of Kislev. So this was Chanukah Habayit, the celebrating of the opening of the holy tent, dear women. So we have the merit. I have it over here in English and in Hebrew. Just give it out, see that everybody has. And I will go with it, and I will explain how do we read it. Okay, I will explain. It's good to read it. Who doesn't have? Everybody has here. They will give out. Give it. You have one? Here. I will explain.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You have? Who doesn't have? Here. And on the other side they have? Everybody has? In it.
Thank you.
Everybody has? Okay, let's go through it. Look, dear, listen because you won't understand. Listen with me. It's a merit to read it.
Послушайте, что потом я повторила. Повторяется все время.
So the first day, it starts in the Sidurim. I can see it starts even a little bit before that. Vayikach Moshe, you see the first sentence? Vayikach Moshe, you see it also in English on the other side. It's from Parashat Nesod, dear women. It's Chumash Bamidbar, chapter 7, verses 6 to 35, dear women. And you can see at the first day of Chanukah in the morning, the men read from the Torah. So they read, it starts a little bit before, even though it's written over here, Vayikach. Look at my page, okay? Until here, it's the first day. And before the second day, this is the first day, Yom Rishon. Look at the English part, you will see. The first day, start from the beginning till the first day. Including the first day, זה יום הראשון. זה ממשיך עד נחשון בן עמינדב. עד נחשון עמינדב, which means until verse 18, not including 18. The second day is from verse 18 to 23. The second day is from verse 18 to, it's written, B'yom HaSheni, the second day. It's written, this is the second day of Chanukah. You see it? The third day of Chanukah, you see from verse 24 to verse 29. And then, dear women, the fourth day is from verse 30 to verse 35. And turn the page.
Wait, and the third day is still what it says.
It's written. Tarila, show her. And the fifth day, dear women, is from verse 36 to verse 41. And then the sixth day is from verse 42 to verse 47. And then the seventh is from 48, verse 48 to 53. And then, dear women, the eighth day is everything that is left, because this is Zot Chanukah. The eighth day is from the eighth day until the end, which means the eighth day, the ninth day, you see, B'yom HaTshi, the 10th day, the 11th day, the 12th day, and then after that we have Zot Chanukah HaMizbeach. Adasof. From the eighth day you read until the end. Everything that you have over there. Yes. Until the end. This is the eighth day of Chanukah. It's a big merit to read it, dear women. מה? גם בעלותך, כן, הכל. Until the end. It includes, כן. Until the beginning, because at the end, Parashat Ba'alotcha is the lightning of the menorah by Aaron the Kohen, by Aaron the priest. So until the end, okay? No, in the morning. This is to read in the morning, every morning of Chanukah. Not at night. At night we read the Tehillim that I gave you. In the morning, dear women, okay? This is for the morning. Dear women, this is for the morning. הנה, בדף השלישי, open on the third page, זאת חנוכת הבית. רגע.
הנה.
איפה זה? הנה, זאת חנוכת הבית.
מפ"ד.
It's 84, you can see זאת חנוכת הבית. This is the celebration of the house. הסברתי, נגמר חנוכת הבית ב-25 בכסלו, בכ"ה בכסלו. בדיוק זה חנוכה. את הנס התחילו, אחרי שניצחו החשמונאים, כל החגיגה שלהם הייתה מכ"ה בית כסלו. לכן זאת חנוכה.
מפה עד לסוף?
כולל עד הסוף, כן, כולל בעלותך. כן. So this we read... Sorry? No. At night you read chapter 30. When you, with the candles. Hanerot halalu, you say...
We read all those chapters.
Yeah, and chapter 30. I think it's also written here. Here, chapter 30 is the first.
Okay.
Okay?
מה עם זה פה?
This is only in the morning.
מה עם שביעי?
This, מה? זה נר שביעי. יום למחרת, בבוקר.
זה הדף השלישי.
הדף השלישי הוא קורא הכל.
הכל.
הכל, מהשמיני, מהיום השמיני, את הכל.
הכל. הנה, מי
From the 8th day you read everything. צריכה עוד נשמה? קחי. כמה שאת צריכה. For the 8th day you read, כן. בבוקר, במהלך היום. כי קוראים את התורה בבוקר. אז אתה בלאו הכי ברכות השחר ואת עושה שברכות על התורה, את יכולה לקרוא. Dear women, when we say Birkot HaShachar, we bless over reading the Torah. In order that when we read from the Torah, we already said the blessing. So you can read it in the morning, okay? We say Birkot HaShachar, dear women, so we bless over reading the Torah. So dear women, then you can read this. Only part of it, it's for every day you have the portion. The 8th day includes everything.
מתחילים יום רביעי, נכון? מפה.
כתוב, ביום הרביעי.
מפה מתחילים ביום רביעי כבר.
איפה? ויהי המקריב ביום הראשון. לא, זה יום ראשון.
שמדליקים את הנר הראשון.
זה הנר הראשון, לא רביעי. עכשיו, הנה, ביום השני זה נר שני.
זה שני, אוקיי.
ושלישי, את מבינה?
אז זה יום רביעי מתחילים.
מיום רביעי, כן, את צודקת, יום רביעי בבוקר. הבנתם את זה. I'll explain again. Wednesday is the first day of Chanukah. So on Wednesday we read the first president of Shevet Yehuda, of the tribe of Judea, that gave, Bezrat Hashem, all the presents. אז זה יום הראשון שלך. It's Wednesday night, סליחה, יום חמישי. She's right, היא צודקת, יום חמישי, לא יום רביעי בלילה זה נכנס. אז זה קוראים ביום חמישי. תודה, thank you. Shoshana is right. On Wednesday night, we light the candles. So on Thursday morning, we read the first president of the tribes, the tribe of Judea. Thank you. Toda, neshama. Okay, let's see if we have something else that I didn't tell you yet. So I told you that we read the, oh yes. Now, dear women, that we give May Chanukah. We give gelt to children, we give money to children of Chanukah. Usually the best thing is to give the chocolate that looks like money. I love them too. בעזרת השם צריך לחלק את זה כאן. Dear women, then we eat donuts ולביבות. איך קוראים ללביבות באנגלית? latkes. We eat donuts and latkes, and why? Because to remind us of the miracle of the shemen, of the oil, dear women. So we eat donuts and latkes. So, you know, it's like the shual ve'akerem, because we need to get thin before Chanukah, then we can eat, and then we can... And then I would like to remind you that we play with a dreidel. We get the children to play with a dreidel, dear women, and I would like to wish all of us Chag Chanukah Sameach over us and all the children of Israel. May Mashiach come, שיבוא המשיח במהרה בימינו אמן. אליהו נביא זכור לטוב. I love you women, לעולם יפרד אדם מחברו, מדבר הלכה יחיד ורבים הלכה כרבים.